conversation. Okay, so here's the conversation that they created. Oh, poo. Hold on. Sorry. I gotta connect my Bluetooth speaker. Paired connect. There you go. Okay, let's do it again. Yeah. All right. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
How can I help you today?
Hello, Professor. I wanted to talk to you about something.
Sorry, Hamid. That's.
Hi.
You said. Okay, you did send this to me. Oh, that's my bad. Hold on. Oh, I got a little confused there. Sorry about that. Hold on. It was. Who you sent it to me? Did you? That's right. Okay. So, my gosh. Sorry about that. 21st. So that would have been, oh my God. No. Okay. You know what? I may have to just come. I'm to find this later on. I'm gonna spend too much time in the class looking for it. Maybe I'll save this one for Monday. How's that sound? That sounds like a good idea. I'll save it. For Tuesday.
Yeah, for Tuesday.
Because Monday's a holiday. So yeah, we'll go over this one on Tuesday. Okay, so we'll start then with team 2 because my bad. I should have I double checked last night, but I didn't check to make sure it was the right recording. So we'll start with team 2. So whatever comments you can make are right there. Okay, yeah, that's all right. We'll just do 3 teams. All right, here we go. Oh, by the way, the members of team 2. Look at that. Wow, that's so stylish. Huh? Yeah. Okay, so they're all. They're all like, this is like they're good photographs too. All right, here we go. Let's just do this. Okay.
Hi, I would like to drop off my graduation form. I understand you need this in order to process my diploma.
Okay, I'll take that. Before you leave, let me check our computer. Looks like you are okay for graduation and actually I'm getting a warning flag on your academic record here.
Really?
Yeah, let's see what's what. Oh, okay. Are you familiar with our graduation requirements?
I think so.
Then you know you need 48 credits in your major field to graduate and at least 24 credits at the intermediate level or higher. Also, after your second year, you have to meet with your department chair to outline a plan for the rest of your time here. In the past, we also issued letters before a student's final year began to let them know what they needed to take in their final year to be okay. But we don't do that anymore.
I definitely met with my chairperson 2 years ago. He told me that I needed 8 more courses at the intermediate level or higher in the last 2 years to be okay. So I'm not sure what the problem is. I made sure I got these credits.
Unfortunately, the computer is usually pretty reliable, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
It could be that I have taken 2 basic courses but coupled both of them with field experiences.
What do you mean?
Well, I could only take intro courses because there were no intermediate level courses available for these particular topics. My chairperson told me that if I did independent field research in addition to assigned work in each course, they would count as intermediate level courses. My classmates, some of my classmates did this for an easy way to meet the intermediate course requirements. But I did it to get the kind of depth of these topics I was going for. As I turned out, I really enjoyed the fieldwork. It was a nice supplement to just sitting and listening to the lectures.
I'm sure that's true, but the computer is still showing them as basic level courses, despite the fieldwork.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, Should I cancel my graduation party?
No reason to get worried like that. Just contact your chairperson immediately, okay? Tell him to call me as soon as possible so that we can verify your fieldwork arrangement and certify those credits right away. It's not like there is an actual deadline today or anything, but if more than a few weeks go by, we might have a real problem that would be very difficult to fix in time for you to graduate. In fact, there probably would be nothing we could do.
I will get on that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I like that. Pretty clear problem and conflict you had. It's like a lot of your courses are not what they should be, etc. Yes, yes, I know that was you. Yeah, good voice, really good voice work. For the most part, most of what y'all were saying, I understood very well. I think that's manageable if a student were listening to that, not speaking too fast. You know, there's a few times when even it felt very natural. He said, that was a nice touch. That's fine. So sometimes it's pretty challenging if a student has to listen to that and take notes, and if it's too quick, I think that was a good enough pace, speed that some student could take notes on that manageably well. All right, so the first one is always a gist question. Why does the man go to see the registrar? Yes, that's always the first question on the conversation, the gist purpose question. To find out why he is not on the list for graduating students, to explain why he has not fulfilled his graduation requirements. I think it's that one. I think to submit a document and to find out what exact requirements are for graduation. Oh, I missed it. Is it B? Is that right? No. Is it D? Yeah, I was between B or D. Okay, yeah. Well, then that's good. I wasn't taking notes. That's pretty challenging. See, it's like, oh man, how did he find out? Did he find out because he got a letter, maybe he's not on the graduation list or something? That's a detail someone would have to write down. Okay, that's pretty good. Each option is pretty distinct. It's not like two are similar and well phrased. It's not too long, not too short. Okay, yeah, you guys can write down your own thoughts on team number 2, whether that question is manageable or clear enough or hard enough, whether it's too hard or too, okay, I see it. Okay, good. The second one is always a detailed question, according to. That means that's in the student's notes, right? Yeah. What steps is currently taken to ensure that students fulfill their graduation requirements? Student meet with a department chairperson to plan their coursework. That's one of the steps, okay? Students receive letters listing the courses that they will need to take. That's one of the steps that's currently taken. I like that you include the current, and maybe at some point there was some other thing in the past that was different. I don't know. Warning letters that are sent to students who have fallen behind in their coursework. Academic records are regularly checked by the registrar's office to ensure students fulfill their graduation requirements. I think it's D, isn't that right, Mom?
B. It's currently not.
B.
Yeah.
A letters listing courses that you still need to take. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because in the question it's written currently,
Mm-hmm.
what he has to do right now.
Gotcha. Yeah. So there was a trick in this one, meaning like, okay, cool.
We still need to take, right? So it's current position right there.
All right, good. So I think that was still pretty tricky. See, a lot of the options have to seem very plausible, and I was tempted to pick the wrong one. Right. So okay, there we go. I should have taken notes on this actually. This is a challenge. I can't do it. All right. So why does the man mention his classmates? Okay. Yeah. Sometimes that's a listen again question, but sometimes it's written just like that. Yeah. Right. To emphasize his motivation to do field research in 2 courses, to explain how he obtained information about the field research, show it's difficult to get intermediate level credits, to point out many students like to do field research. Oh man.
It's a detailed question.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe I can't recall which one it was, y'all. Which one was it? D was it? Okay. Point out many students like to do field research. Gotcha. Well, all we're doing is evaluating the construction of the of the challenge, and I think each one is very distinct. It's not like there's 2 that are too similar, and they were both written in a pretty clear, direct way. So yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. Shoot, I like the formatting. All of them. That's her meticulous typing is keeping everything uniform. But anyway, yeah, it's the sort of thing I would expect to see on the TOEFL. Why does the registrar tell the man to contact his chairperson immediately? It sounds like an inference question, right? Okay, the man needs to find out if the chairperson will help him. A deadline has already passed. Issuing a new grade will take longer than expected. The man has limited time to resolve the problem. I believe it's D then, isn't it? Wow, I'm failing your test, man. I should have taken notes. What was it, Tomasa?
B.
Was it B? The deadline was already passed.
Yeah. Why does the registrar tell the man to contact his chair? Because it was already passed, he has to again contact.
Man, okay. I should have paid attention closer. Okay, there we go. Well, okay. Here you go. But I can see, D would be plausible if someone like me on the TOEFL or halfway listening to it, so that sounds like that would be pretty plausible. So that's a good trick to try to trick the students, right? And that's the sort of thing you might encounter on the TOEFL next week. Something that seems plausible but actually isn't. You have to actually follow your notes. Oh,
Listen
yeah.
again.
One of these listen again questions. Here we go.
Listen again to the part of conversation. Then answer the question. I'm not sure what the problem is. I made sure I got these credits.
Unfortunately, the computer is usually pretty reliable, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
What does registrar imply when she says this?
Unfortunately, the computer is usually pretty reliable, so I'm not sure what's going on here.
D, right? Of course, yeah. Right. So, confused about why the computers have an error. Okay, very cool, nice. All right, so that was the conversation.
Listen.
All right. But well structured, that's exactly the way it would be on the TOEFL, right? All right, so now we're moving on to the lecture and team 2. Sorry, team 1, I'm really sorry about that. I know your heart's broken. Yeah, you really wanted your voice to be up there. Yeah, we'll do it on Tuesday. Okay. Here's the lecture from Professor Samya. Yeah.
Listen to the part of a lecture in an animal behavior class.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, last time we talked about passive habitat selection. Like plants, for example, they don't make active choices about where to grow. They're displaced by some other agent, like the wind. And if the seeds land in a suitable habitat, they do well and reproduce. With active habitat selection, an organism is able to physically select where to live and breed. And because an animal's breeding habitat is so important, we'd expect animal species to have developed preferences for particular types of habitats. Places where their offspring have the best chance of survival. So let's look at the effect those preferences can have by looking at some examples. But first, let's recap. What do we mean by habitats? Frank?
Well, it's basically the place or environment where an organism normally lives and grows.
Right. And we've discussed there is some key elements that a habitat must contain. Food, obviously, water, and it's got to have the right climate and spaces for physical protection. And we saw how important habitat selection is when we looked at habitats where some of these factors are removed. Perhaps through habitat destructions. I just read about a shorebird, the plover. The plover lives by the ocean and feeds on small shellfish, insects, and plants. It blends with the sand, so it's well camouflaged from predator birds above, but it lays its eggs in shallow depression in the sand with very little protection around them. So, if there's people or dogs on the beach, the eggs and flooding in the nest are really vulnerable. Out in California, where there's been a lot of human development by the ocean, the plovers are now a threatened species. So, conservationists tried to create a new habitat for them. They made artificial beaches and sandbars in areas inaccessible to people and dogs. And the plover population is up quite in a bit in those places. Okay, that's an instance where habitat is made less suitable. But now, how about cases where an animal exhibits a clear choice between two suitable habitats? In cases like that, does the preference matter? Well, let's look at the blue warbler. The blue warbler is songbird that lives in North America. They clearly prefer hardwood forests with dense shrubs and bushes underneath the trees. They actually nest in the shrubs, not the trees, so they're pretty close to the ground. But those warblers are also nest in forests that have low shrubs density. It's usually the younger warblers that nest in those areas because the preferred spots where there are a lot of shrubs are taken by the older, more dominant birds. And the choice of habitat seems to affect reproductive success because of the older, more experienced birds who nest in the high density shrubs areas have significant more offspring than those in low density areas, which suggests that the choice of where to nest does have an impact on numbers of chicks they have. But preferred environment doesn't always seem to correlate with greater reproductive success. For example, in Europe, studies have been done of blackcap warblers. We just call them blackcaps. The blackcap can be found in two different environments. Their preferred habitat is forest near the edge of streams. However, blackcaps also live in pinewood away from water. Studies have been done on the reproductive success rate for the birds in both areas, and the result shows, surprisingly, that the reproductive success was essentially the same in both areas. The preferred and the second choice habitat. Why? It turned out that there were actually 4 times as many bird pairs or couples living in the steam edge habitat compared to the area away from the steam. So the steam edge area had a much denser population, which means more members of the same species competing for resources, wanting to feed on the same thing or build their nest in the same places, which lowered the suitability of the prime habitat even though it's their preferred habitat. So, the results of the studies suggest that when the number of competitors in the prime habitat reach a certain point, the second-ranked habitat becomes just as successful as the prime habitat. Just because there are fewer members of the same species living there, so it looks like competition for resources is another important factor in determining in particular habitat is suitable.
Now get ready to answer the questions. You may use your notes to help your answers.
All right. Holy cow! Imagine being on the TOEFL and taking notes on that. I think So my thoughts. I mean, you guys feel free to make comments of your own. But my thoughts. That could probably be cut in half. what I'm saying. That's a length. It's pretty lengthy. I think looks like she's talking about two different kinds of birds. I know she's also speaking at a pace that's a little slower than the real thing, but there's a few pronunciation issues there. But okay, great topic. It's just I like that little interaction that you included in your group there, because that oftentimes happens in the real TOEFL. But boy, yeah, sometimes editing, can really help. I think another one of those groups, Professor Sarah's, was like 7 minutes long. So, all right, let's see if this is a comprehensible question. Yeah, that seems like a little bit more than what would normally be on the TOEFL. That's my point of view on that. But you feel free to write down your own point of view. All right, so what's the main purpose of the lecture? To compare active habitat selection with passive ones, to compare habitat requirements of several bird species, to examine the consequences of habitat selections of animals, to show that habitat preference in animals are learned. Ooh, what do y'all think? What's the purpose of the lecture according to you? Yeah, which one did y'all catch? Yeah, is it D? D's and dog, yeah. It's preferred, okay, it's learned rather, yeah, okay. Well, each option is written very clearly. I mean, it's not confusing the way you guys wrote it down, so it's each one's very distinct. All right, what element of the plover? Oh, she was pronouncing it correctly. I wasn't sure what she was. Plover, that is, okay, that's a type of bird, I guess. What element of the plover's habitat in California was threatened? Okay, good detailed question. Ability of food, safety of nests from human activity. I think it was B, remember that right. Yeah, the protection of nests from predatory birds. Oh, something about nests though. Humans or predator birds, the availability of water. So I think it was B or C. Is that B? Yeah. Okay, my instinct was right. I do remember, this is good because I do remember later on in the lecture they talked about some other birds threatening somebody, so that could have been, yeah, it could have been a good way to trick the students. Okay, yeah, hang in there, you guys. Yeah, so let's see. What does the professor illustrate with the example of a blue warbler? All right, good organization question. Yeah, that's mentioned this example. Why put yourself in the shoes of the professor? She's trying to illustrate the advantages of habitats with low vegetation density, the relationship between human activity and habitat loss, maybe, the relationship between habitat and reproductive success. I think that's what it was, C. The reproductive advantage that young warblers have over older warblers. Does it see? Yeah. Ooh, thank goodness. I'm doing better on the lecture than the conversation. I don't know, was it? I don't know why it is. I don't know what it is. But anyway. It's a lucky guess. I really, as a native English speaker, I would have had to take notes on that. That's pretty long, it's pretty challenging. Okay, a lot of details to keep track of. Okay, here we go, y'all. Why does the professor mention the population density of blackcaps in two different habitats? I'd probably argue that's another organization question, but yes, that's what you'd see on the TOEFL, yeah. She's trying to explain the similar reproductive rates of two habitats. Okay, yeah, that sounds right. To illustrate the advantages of preferred habitat over secondary habitat. To explain the relationship between the species population. Oh, species possessive, right? Yeah, there we go. Species population density and its nesting behavior. Yeah, despite that, your grammar is really excellent. And the way you're phrasing it, I think you were typing it all, weren't you? Yeah, it's good. To illustrate the possible impact of making poor habitual habitat selection, rather. Okay. Density cat, black cat. I can't remember. Is it A? Thank you. All right. Okay. Let's see. According to the professor, another detailed question. Why did some black caps choose a secondary habitat? Okay. They were following a moving food supply. They preferred habitat. Their preferred habitat became competitive. Their nesting sites were disturbed by human activity. They prefer habitat taken over by other bird species. Yeah, which one was it, y'all?
B.
Bees and boy? Yeah, they prefer their habitat to be more competitive. Okay, good. Yeah, all of those, a couple of those sound plausible. Each one was distinct. Again, the point of this, y'all, is we're just saying, would this be a challenging thing that you would expect to see on the TOEFL? So I think that's pretty challenging enough. That's right in the sweet spot there. It's not too obscure. Okay, so the last one, here we go, y'all.
What can be inferred about Professor when she says this?
Okay, that's habitat destruction. But now, what about cases where an animal exhibits a clear choice? one suitable habitat over another? In cases like this, does the preference matter?
So the question is obvious. She realizes she just contradicted. No. She wants students to recall the case that she had already discussed. The answer is obvious. Oh, it looks like she's changing the subject. Just probably B, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, nice. All right, y'all. So that's the team. Look at that. Boy, really, y'all put a lot of work in this. Give them a hand. Yeah. That's awesome. All right, y'all. Hang in there. I know. We're gonna go through all of them, but I promise after we go through all of them and you make some comments on each team, we'll do something different after this. We'll get some TOEFL practice. All right, great job, y'all. So that's team 2, and here's team 3. Now, let's keep in mind, I thought that we were gonna have other people part of your team. Every team had 3 people or more. These guys had 2, and Simon has taken TOEFL before, but Mr. Mundo, this is the first time taking TOEFL. So in light of that, first time taking TOEFL, 2 people, fewer people, you really, I was very impressed that you were able to get the whole thing done. First of all, and it was pretty good. I especially liked your conversation here. So we get to this. So I'm gonna just. Yeah, I know. It's perfect. Yeah, it's very, very professional. We're missing like what you guys did, but I think it'll be okay. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so this is team 3, by the way. If you want to make comments on team 3. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. And here we go.
Good morning, teacher. How's it going today?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing?
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Can I tell you, do you have any problem?
Oh yeah, teacher. I have like a few problems. I bought the book. I bought the book the last week, but I don't know how to sign up on my English lab. Then I've been missing. I think I've been missing homeworks. Assignments. So I don't know how to, or I don't know how to sign up on my homework or my online homework.
Oh, no worry. That is your first time you use my English lab. Do you not have any idea when you use my English lab? That's your first time?
No, it's my first time in using my English lab.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I can help you with that. Do you have an account? Do you have an account yet?
I don't think so. But should I create an account?
Oh, yeah, of course. You should create an account first. After that, you can use the code in your textbooks. Then you can use the class code to see my assignment.
Okay. I wasn't know about that. But have you? I think you already sent some homework. But I was my friends the last week.
Yeah.
We was talking about your homework.
Okay.
Then they were saying that your homework are kind of hard. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But I believe I lost the last assignment because I wasn't know how to sign up on my lab. So in that case, I don't know what to do, but they told me, should I talk with you first? That in that case, you can help me to, you can help me to, maybe you can make up me the assignment.
Yeah. Don't worry. I can help you, but the problem with you is you need to create first the account.
Yeah.
When you create your account, it's easy for you. But now, I will make up the assignment for you in that time.
Okay.
It's okay?
Yeah. But do you do anything? What do you like to do on the weekends?
And the weekend. No, normally I don't have nothing in the weekend. But you need to create first your assignment.
Yeah.
If you create your assignment, you can do the homework.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, see you.
professor is very excited about the weekend. Oh yeah, give me a hand out here. Like I said, first time doing that, and you can tell that's improvised, and so that was very charming. I was gonna say. I mean, as it is now, that's a good length. It's between 3 and 5 minutes. I mean, I would just make a little comment. There's several times where there's some repetition in there, and I, so probably like a take 2 or something would be a little smoother. But that's the sort of topic you'd see on the TOEFL. Two problems, right? I can't sign up for homework. Can I get makeup work for the old stuff? They created that themselves. I gotta. So this y'all always try to say code, and cone comes out a little bit. Yeah, cone is okay. So let's see what here are the questions you guys created. Why did the student have problems with the online homework? Yeah, fine. That's more of a detailed question, not really a gist. But okay. And usually there's 4 options, by the way. So by the way. You guys feel free to make your own opinion and comments on your own paper there, even if it's different than my opinion, that's fine. Why did the student have problems? Because the student had not created an account yet, because the teacher forgot to give homework, because the student lost the textbook. All right, okay. So, yeah. All right, so maybe a comment on this one. Maybe you could have made the answers a little more tricky, Well, A is obvious, and I think that's, like we saw in the previous one, I really struggled to try to figure out which one it was. But sometimes on the TOEFL, one of the options is kind of humorous and silly, like he lost the textbook or something. I mean, sometimes I do see obviously wrong and things like that. Okay. So that's the beginning of it. What does the teacher suggest the student do first? That's a detailed question, right? What's the solution? See, the problem or the solution, right? To create an account, to buy another book, skip the homework, go to my English lab. I believe it was creating an account, right? Yeah. Skip the homework. I mean, that could be, but that's not all we're saying there, so. Okay, maybe one thing I would say is that usually the options are all like complete sentences, they're a little bit longer, I'm pretty sure that it's, it could either be to create an account or to go to my English lab, I guess. Yeah, it could be either one of those, but I think it's A, right? That's right, yeah, cool. There you go. So it's slightly challenging, they didn't have to listen carefully. The conversations are usually manageable enough. You can maybe close your eyes and listen to them and do pretty well. But yeah, probably make each option a little longer. Nevertheless, that's the kind of detailed question you'd expect. Okay. How can a student access the teacher's assignments? All right, another detail. Good. By using the textbook code and the class code. All right. By asking another student. Now, I mean, you didn't say anything about that. I like it. Yeah. Oh God. I should have helped y'all with these. That's okay. It's all right. It's all right. Reading into the end of this. Okay, yeah. I've noticed a lot of the correct answers for the first one. So that's another thing that could make it more challenging. Don't make all the right answers A. Okay, anyway. Okay, but that is the kind of question. Maybe each option could have been a more challenging. That's all my only thought would be there. First of all, the grammar is not too bad. I would probably just try to make them complete sentences, but you're keeping the verb tenses correct, so that's good. And each option is distinct. But, okay, I like it, man. Good. An inference question. Yeah, that's what you had to do. Yeah, what can be inferred about the teacher from the conversation? Teacher is supportive and wants to help the student succeed. Good. Teacher is angry because the student missed the assignment. Weekend. It doesn't sound like you're angry at all. Teacher doesn't know online system. A little spelling here. How the online systema. This online system works. Clearly, from your description, you do know how it works, right? Teacher thinks the students should. Okay. First time. Yeah. There's a lot of kind of obviously wrong answers. So maybe my overall note would be, try to make them a little more tricky because it's an A again, right? That's okay. First time trying this, that's okay. Now, but that is the right kind of question you would get. The options could be a little more challenging, I think. Okay. Oh,
why?
There we go. Listen again. Question.
Why does the professor say, "Don't worry, I will make up the assignment for you in that time"?
Right.
The result, the student that makes in one assignment will not be a big problem. Okay.
Oh, you gave us the answer. Okay, well, yeah, on the real TOEFL, they don't read the answer for you. Okay, would you? Yeah, I had them ask to reassure the student that missing one assignment will not be a big problem. To explain that the student will need to buy another textbook, because I didn't say that. We're just talking about losing one more assignment in the future. That's closer to plausible. Emphasize the importance of creating it. Yeah, okay. So that actually this one is closer to more plausible stuff. I mean, the other ones had a lot more silly ones in there, but okay. You usually don't read the answer though, like that. That's okay. All right, Professor is it Professor Mundo? All right, here we go. Let's listen.
Prehistoric astronomers. Prehistoric people most certainly noted with interest the current pattern of movement in the sky of some celestial bodies of the sun, the moon, the planet, and the stars. Also, they had differently perceived that events in the world such as seasonal fluctuation with water weights in the turn affected the life of the plants and animals in their world, often related to the movement of the celestial bodies, because it was important for prehistoric people to predict, for example, when it was the best time to plant crops, or when herd of game would be migrating. Early farmers and hunters took an interest in monitoring the movement of celestial bodies, understanding the relationship between this movement and recurring patterns of events on Earth was fundamental importance. Astronomical events. The Lascaux caves in southwest France disclose paintings that are thought to be the phases of the moon, and perhaps a lunar calendar dated more than 15,000 years ago. Stonehenge, one of the best known prehistoric structures in England, is the viewed by many as just one example of celestial observation infrastructure. As the field of the astronomical, which combines the knowledge and expertise from the field of archaeology and astronomy, is dedicated to the study of the prehistoric cultures, has come to include not only sessions and calendars, but also mode of navigation, measurement, and even mathematics. It are reminded that the contemporary interest in the planet, the sun, and the stars is an inheritance derived from our ancient ancestors. Archaeoastronomers who have been studying prehistoric culture in North America have discovered various instruments that made it possible for prehistoric people to study and record astronomical events and alignment of stones and women known as the boss at Kauki in Lyonese and especially design windows in structures of the southwestern United States that allowed the rays of the sun to hit the signage marks on insides work and or believed to be early technologies for monitoring and measuring astronomical events.
All right, yeah, give me a hand, everybody. Yeah, all right, all right. Woo! Second time was better. I mean, I had to re-record it. It was a little better that second time. So okay, yeah, it's still it's a decent length. That's the right length you'd have to have for on the TOEFL there. Still is a bit of a challenge occasionally, just to follow it. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, so you took that from your book. That's good. So let's take a look at the what's the main idea of the passage? Okay, good. Or the lecture, rather. Prehistoric people used astronomy mainly for entertainment. Cool. All right. No. Study of the celestial bodies was essential in prehistoric cultures for survival and later developed in the field of astronomy. Sounds like it may be B. Yeah. Archaeoastronomy focuses only on prehistoric monuments. Hey, nice. I do see that on the TOEFL, including the only in there to make that signals that maybe that's a wrong answer. So oftentimes they'll put an only in there to make it a wrong answer. Good. Modern scientists no longer share any connection with ancient observations of the sky. Yeah, looks like it's B, huh? All right, nice. Okay. All right. Do y'all can make comments about that one there? And yeah, like I said, whenever I make a PDF or whatever, I'll take your name off. So, okay, a detailed question. Good. According to the passage, why was it important for prehistoric people to observe movements in celestial bodies? Good. Cool. Entertain themselves. During the night, I guess. During long nights. LONG. That's fine. To predict seasonal changes that affected human hunting and farming. To measure the distances between villages. Nice. They don't mention that at all. Looks like it's B, right? Okay. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. So, like I said, you feel free to make comments on that. Is that the right sort of challenging level? Could they have made it a little trickier, etc.? Yeah, sort of thing. Was each one just easy to follow? All right. Easy to understand each. Okay. What's the paintings in the caves? I don't speak French, And what is that? Las Col caves. They represent hunting scenes and prehistoric animals. They're believed to show the phases of the moon, possibly lunar calendar, to depict the first evidence in mathematics. Okay, they were created in honor of ancient rulers. Oh, nice. Looks like it may be, B, right? Or, I noticed it's because it's the longest one. Usually they're, I noticed that, yeah. But A seems very plausible too, right? Okay. Right, yeah, because that's oftentimes when I think about cave paintings is depicting hunting prehistoric animals. Okay. How is the information organized? Yeah. Organization question. There you go. Not a detail, yeah. What does the teacher's lesson plans look like? You might see something like that next week on the homework. By describing prehistoric observations of the sky, comparing the astronomy. That's an incomplete idea there. By listing modern scientific, that's an incomplete sentence there. Okay. Each of the options are, not really complete. So I'm guessing it's, how is the information in the passage organized? So this kind of question usually is asking not about details in the lecture, about the lecture itself. What do the lesson plans look like? Yeah, maybe the professor focused on one example, and et cetera, that kind of thing. So you're making it's a question about what the professor did, not so much the lecture. Right. What could be inferred about prehistoric people from the passage? They believed only on luck when deciding what to play crops and stuff. That's good. There's that only again. They developed systems to track celestial moves because their survival depended on predicting natural events. Again, It's the longest one, so I guess if I were taking this TOEFL test, I would guess that would probably. They had no interest in mathematics or measurement. Then we can't infer that. That's good. It's an inference. Maybe that's not something directly stated. They built monuments mainly for decoration. All right, cool. Yeah, we can't draw that conclusion either. That looks like B. Okay. All right. So yeah, you guys feel free to make comments on that. How could we maybe make it a little more challenging? But the phrasing of each option is good there. Right? No problem there. Okay. So for this one, really should have been a listen again question, but here's the last one. Why does the author mention in the passage? This is more of an organization question, but that's all right. All right. To give an example of early structures and artifacts that may have been used for observation, to show that prehistoric people were not capable of scientific thinking, to argue that only European cultures cared about astronomy. Yeah, nice. I like that only in there. That happens sometimes. To prove archaeoastronomy is no longer an important field of study. That's okay. Misspelled it, but there you go. Okay, so it's of course A. All right, y'all. There you are. There's the team. All right, give me credit. Give me a hand, everybody. All right. Yeah. So, if nothing else, when you take the test next week, you're thinking, I know what's coming next because you made it yourself, right? I know what those jerks on the TOEFL are trying to do because I did it. I was the jerk last week, right? Okay. I was trying to create hard questions, right? Maybe you know what I might do a little bit later on, even though I put the wrong whatever in here. Maybe what I'll do is I'll play a little bit later on. I'll play your lecture because I'm pretty sure I got that right. But let's go and do team 4 now. Hang in there, y'all. I know this is taking a long time. I'm sorry. I promise we'll do something else after this. Okay. Thanks. I just wanted everybody to get credit for their work. All right. Here's team 4. We're gonna make some comments about their work. Here we go.
Hi, come in. How can I help you today?
Hello, Professor. I wanted to talk to you about something I've been struggling with in your history class.
Sure. What seems to be the problem?
Well, honestly, I'm having trouble keeping up with reading assignments. The chapters are really long, and with my other classes and my part-time job, I can't finish them before the lectures. I feel like I'm feeling behind.
I see. You're not the only student who mentioned this. The textbook is pretty dense, and I assign a lot of material, but it's important because our discussions and exams are based on those readings.
Right? And that's why I'm worried. During class discussions, I sometimes feel lost because I haven't completed the reading in time. I want to participate more, but I just don't feel prepared.
That makes sense. One thing you could try is focusing on the main themes instead of reading every detail word by word. Skim the chapter first, look at the headings, and then read more carefully the parts that connect to what we discussed in lecture. That will save you time.
That sounds helpful. But what about the quizzes? They sometimes ask about specific details, and I don't want to miss those points.
Good question. You might also consider forming a study group. Other students often notice details you might miss, and you can divide the work by summarizing different sections. That way, everybody benefits.
A study group could work. I know a couple of classmates who might be interested.
Great. And remember, you can always come to my office hours if you want me to clarify something from the readings. I don't expect every student to master all the details immediately. What matters most is that you understand the broader historical themes.
Thank you, Professor. That makes me feel a little better. I was worried that I was the only one struggling.
Not at all. Adjusting to heavy reading loads is part of college. If you use strategies like skimming, group study, and office hours, you will improve over time.
Okay, I'll give that a try. I appreciate your advice.
Anytime, and let me know how it goes in the next few weeks.
That's good. Give me a hand. Yeah. That's a pretty good length. That's about right. I mean, sometimes it's slightly longer, but the pace of your speaking there was really natural. Yeah, both of y'all had give back and forth. That felt very like a natural conversation. A few times there was, a couple of pronunciation issues there. I like it. It sounds like your office is out in the parking lot. It's actually the car's driving by. No big deal. Okay. All right. Let's see what kind of questions you got. Main purpose of the conversation. Yeah, that's a gist question, right? That's usually on the conversation. The student asks for clarification about historical events discussed in the class. He complains about the length of the professor's lectures. I think it did say something about that in the courses. I think the student explains difficulty with reading assignments and seeks advice, assigns the student additional chapters. Okay, so it's C, correct? Yeah, nice. I think each one of these is, I could see maybe that one could be plausibly one of the options that could probably trick one of the students taking the TOEFL, because I think at one point he talked about how long something might be or something. Okay, so there you go. Why does the student feel unprepared for class discussions? All right, it's a detailed question. Because the lectures cover topics that are not in the textbook, because the student cannot always finish the assigned readings on time, the student missed several class meetings, the professor rarely explains the themes in class. Yeah, which one was that, y'all? Yeah.
B.
Was it B? Okay. That's one I was leaning toward. Yeah. I'm wondering if it could be possibly D, I suppose. I mean, it's not necessarily something you said. I don't think you missed any classes. Didn't say anything about the textbook. So I was kind of between B or D. Yeah. Okay. Each option is pretty distinct. It's not like you're saying the same thing twice. That's a nice. They're phrased very clearly, so the student's not going to be confused when they read the options. Okay. You guys make your own comments there if you want. All right. What solution? By the way, this is team 4. By the way, if you don't know. But what solution does the professor? Good. So the problem, the solution. Yeah, that's the sort of thing you'll expect to see next week. What solution does the professor suggest for dealing with detailed quiz questions? Read the chapters more slowly and carefully. Memorize all the bolded items in the textbook. Working with classmates in a studying group. Asking a professor to reduce the amount of assigned reading. Nice. C. Good. Right. Memorizing all the bold terms. Yeah, okay, I could possibly see where A might be something where if a student wasn't quite listening carefully enough, that might be a plausible answer, but it is C in fact. All right. Okay, what can be inferred? Good, an inference question. What can be about the attitude toward the student's problem? Yes, that's the kind of question you'd see on the conversation. Yeah. Professor thinks the student is lazy and not putting up with enough effort. Yeah. I don't hear that in your voice. You're not angry with him. You guys are very friendly. Yeah. The professor believes that he's struggling with heavy reading loads is normal. In fact, I think you said that in more or less the same way. You phrased it differently. The professor doubts that study groups are useful for college level work. In fact, you said the opposite. That's good. Many times the wrong answer is the opposite. Professor plans to reduce the reading. No, you're not going to do that. All right, nice. All right, so there you go.
Not at all. Adjusting to heavy reading loads is part of college. If you use strategies like skimming, group study, and office hours, you will improve over time.
All right, so what does the professor imply when she said that?
Not at all. Adjusting to heavy reading loads is part of college. If you use strategies like skimming, group study, and office hours, you will improve over time.
All right, like it. Yeah, sometimes there's a humorous one in there. The professor's frustrated. Clearly not frustrated. Yeah. Okay, looks like it's A. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's good. All right, fine. Not at all, and it's totally normal. Yeah, that is the sort of thing we'd expect to hear on a function question. Okay, that's pretty good. Sometimes it's idioms. Sometimes it's, when you say not at all, that's a good idiom because an ESL student might not be sure. Because you're saying like, thank you, You're saying not at all means you're welcome sometimes. Okay, Professor Sarah, here we go.
Alright, everyone, let's get started. Today, we are going to discuss one of the most pressing issues of our time, climate change. Now, first of all, what exactly do we mean by climate change? In simple terms, it refers to long-term shifts in global or regional climate patterns, particularly those observed since the late 19th century. These changes are strongly linked to the increased concentration of greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide, which trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere. One of the primary causes of this rise in greenhouse gases is human activity. Think about industrial processes, deforestation, and the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. For example, when we cut down forests, not only do we release the carbon stored in trees, but we also reduce the planet's ability to absorb carbon dioxide in the future. So, what are the consequences? Well, they are numerous and interconnected. Average global temperatures have risen by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since pre-industrial times. This may not sound like much, but the effects are profound. We are seeing more frequent heat waves, melting glaciers, rising sea levels, and shifts in weather patterns. And importantly, these changes don't affect all regions equally. For instance, small island nations in the Pacific are far more vulnerable to rising sea levels than landlocked countries. It's also worth noting that climate change doesn't just have environmental impacts, it has economic and social ones too. Agriculture is being disrupted, which can lead to food insecurity. Public health is at risk with higher rates of respiratory and vector-borne diseases. And of course, extreme weather events such as hurricanes, droughts, and floods create huge costs for governments and communities. Now, in terms of solutions, scientists and policymakers often talk about two main strategies: mitigation and adaptation. Mitigation refers to efforts to reduce or prevent emission of greenhouse gases, for example, shifting to renewable energy sources like solar or wind power, or improving energy efficiency. Adaptation, on the other hand, is about adjusting to the impacts that are already happening or inevitable. For instance, building seawalls to protect coastal cities or developing drought-resistant crops. One interesting point I want to highlight is that while climate change is a global problem, the responsibility for addressing it is not evenly distributed. Developed nations have historically contributed the most to greenhouse gas emissions, while developing nations often suffer the worst consequences. This has led to ongoing debates about climate justice and the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities in natural agreements like the Paris Accord. Before we wrap up, let me emphasize, climate change is not a distant threat. It's happening now, and the choices we make in the next decade will play a crucial role in determining the severity of its future impacts. So, when you hear about policies promoting renewable energy or carbon taxes, remember they are not abstract political ideas. They are attempts to address a very real, very urgent challenge.
Cool. Give a hand, everybody. Yay! All right, yeah. Imagine you were a student, you had to listen to that lecture. I don't know, I think that's pretty manageable. I think so. Yeah, the flow of your English was good. I mean, the intonation to indicate you're starting with one point, another. Clearly, you're just moving from that. Now let's look at this and this. There's transitional phrases. Just a couple of phrases, just a couple of words here and there. that I'd probably say differently. I hear a lot of y'all say decade. You know, everybody say decade. Yeah, not a big deal. Not just you, but a lot of people. And threat. Yeah, it's not just a distant threat. It's a. But you know, I was able to figure out saying anyway. That was very strong, and it's a good length. It's not too long, not too short. Well organized, of course, even though y'all are... Okay, main point of the lecture. Yeah, there you go. It's a main idea question. Explain how climate change has influenced cultural traditions, different societies. Note, just describe the causes, impacts, and possible responses. Sounds like it may be B there. Provide historical overview. Now to argue that adaptation strategies are more effective than mitigation. Ooh, interesting, because that's something you do mention later in the lecture. So that could be something that would tempt a student to choose the wrong answer, but it's in fact B as in boy. Woohoo, good. Nice, you made that one tricky. And you guys feel free to make your own comments on there. It's like, ooh, that was a good choice. Or maybe phrase it. Okay, a detailed question. According to, yes, it's always according to. What I mean, cool. Yeah, what's the effect of deforestation? Good. Cools the Earth's surface? No. It reduces the Earth's ability to absorb carbon dioxide. Yeah. It's stable. Yeah. Actually, I think I'm drawing upon my own previous knowledge. I don't know if she said that yet. It stabilizes rainfall patterns? Maybe. That seems plausible if I weren't paying attention. It increases the natural production of greenhouse gases. Oh, you know what? It could be either B or D or... Is it B you lean toward? Yeah? B as in boy, yeah. It increases natural production of greenhouse gases. You know what? I could see if I were, taking the test, I'd be tempted to say maybe it could be D too, because they're both, but right, it's trees breathe in carbon dioxide, so I think that's something you said pretty directly. Good. All right, yeah. So like according to the professor, I probably, even though that may be true, not something that she necessarily explicitly said. So that's a strong option there, right? Because it makes it tricky. What example does the professor give to illustrate the unequal impact of climate change? Organization question. Awesome. Put yourself in the shoes of the professor. Right, here we go. Economic struggles of farmers in North America, rising sea levels threatening small island nations, increased hurricane activity, disappearance of glaciers in the Himalayas. All right. I know it wasn't that one. Economic struggles of farmers in North America. Which one was it? I can't remember.
B.
Was it B? Okay. Rising sea levels. Small island nations. Okay. Nice. All right. Good. All right. I could be between a couple of those, either A or B. All right. How does the professor organize another organization question? That's good. By contrasting past climate conditions with future climate predictions. Okay. Yeah. This question is an organization, so it's like, look, what does a professor's lesson plans look like? Yeah. Presenting the cause of climate change, and then its effects, and finally solutions. Okay. Describing various theories of climate chronology. Yeah, it's not C. Focusing on the political. No. All right. So I could be either between A or B, but I believe it's B. Right? Yeah. Cool. Nice. It's the one with the most words in it. I'm just kidding. Honestly, I kind of tease sometimes, but yeah, that's good. I was honestly conflicted between A or B. Yeah. If you guys have absolutely no idea what the answer might be, sometimes the word with the option with the most words. Yeah. Well, no, that's bad advice. Don't do that. All right. What could be inferred about the professor's attitude? Good. Toward climate policies like renewable energy promotion, carbon taxes. She believes, that's okay. She believes they are unrealistic in the short term. Okay, no, I don't think she thinks that.
Because it wasn't first him.
Oh, I see. You were originally going to do that's okay. Even in your textbook, I see little things like that messed up. Yeah, that's okay.
Professor was on sick leave.
It's okay. She's an assistant.
She did.
She gave it. Yeah. Essential response to climate change. I think maybe B. She thinks they are mainly economic strategies with little environmental value. She feels they unfairly target developing countries. Okay. I was thinking you're generally pretty positive on it. I'm leaning toward B. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. But you know what? That could be a good argument against carbon taxes and stuff. That would be a good argument against it, yeah, if someone were to make that argument, but she doesn't know that.
Now you might think a rise of just 1.1 degrees Celsius doesn't sound like much, but the effects are profound.
Yeah. Nice. Besides even a seemingly small temperature. Nice. One with the most words. Exactly. To compare most, yeah. All right. Yeah, let's give it up for this team. Yay! Yes. Yeah, what is that? I mean, there's 3 of you. Why are you doing that? I mean, there's 3 of you. I'm just kidding. I know what that means. All right. So anyway, all right, y'all. Let me see if I can find the correct.
Do you need to say again the others?
Maybe yeah, we could probably just do that real quick. I think I may be able to find it here. If I go, recent, not recent, my drive, recently added, Cornerstone, Dunning. Yeah, if you could, maybe that'll help. It was the conversation. Yeah, I don't want y'all to miss out on. Thank you for your patience, y'all. I should have had this audio for the students' projects. You guys are team 1, right? Team 1 conversation. Let me see if this, I might have mislabeled it. All right, so let me take this one and delete it. Here, I might have it here.
Hi, come in. How can I help you today?
Got it.
That's me.
That's you. No, it's you.
Hello, Professor.
That's, sorry. That's why I got it wrong again. Okay, here, you know what? My bad. I was imagining it was Christina over there. Sorry about that. Team 1 conversation, listen again, lecture, listen again, lecture. This is a listen again question. Let's insert it here. Looks like this may be the one where, no, it's a listen again question we got later on. Sorry about that, Cynthia. Yeah, go ahead and send it my way, and we'll insert it in here. I put it at the top of my inbox. Yeah. All right. Audio learning.
Okay, send you the conversation first and now lecture.
All right. Oh, I did get the lecture in there, I think. Yeah. But anyway, just to make sure, right? Photo, audio. This is the okay.
This is the conversation.
That one's the conversation. All right, sounds good. Thanks for your. All right, I can just do this real quick, y'all, and then we'll move on to it. All right, convert it. 2.4 megabytes. We'll insert it in there. Convert it. All right, download it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now. Okay, Google Drive. So you see, this is a longer process. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that, y'all. I double checked it last night, but I didn't look closely enough. Here we go. All right, so let's see if, go away. Download, where are you? There you are. Let's see if this is right, first of all. Not the lecture, but the conversation.
Good morning, Christina. Thanks.
There it is, nice, okay, cool. Add it in there, and now Team 1 can finally have their day in the sun. Okay, audio. There we go, insert, and onomatopoeic, there we go, okay. Now we're ready to go. All right, so we're gonna go back to Team 1 now. This is the comments about them, and oh, by the way, yeah, one more time, let's give it up. Woohoo, yay, them, all right. Okay, this is the team, all right, okay, yeah. So here we go.
Good morning, Christina. Thanks for coming in today. Please have a seat.
Good morning, sure. Is everything okay?
Well, I wanted to talk with you about something I noticed on your academic record.
Okay.
Over the past 3 weeks, you have been absent from several of your morning classes. In fact, 2 of your professors have reported some concern. I just wanted to understand what's going on.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I have been having some trouble with transportation. The bus route I normally take changes the schedule this semester, and sometimes it doesn't arrive on time. So I end up missing the first part of class, or occasionally the whole class.
That sounds frustrating. Public transportation can definitely be unpredictable. But you know, attendance is taken seriously. especially in your first year courses. Missing lecture means you are also missing assignments, announcements, and of course, valuable explanations from your professors.
Yes, I know. I have tried to catch up by reading the textbook and borrowing notes from classmates, but it's not the same. Honestly, I feel like I'm falling behind in my history class already.
I understand, and it's good that you are making an effort to keep up. But long term, this pattern can hurt your grades and even your academic standing with the university. That's why I wanted to talk with you before it becomes a bigger issue.
I appreciate that. I just wasn't sure who to ask for help.
That's exactly why we have offices and advisors here. In fact, the university has a student department that helps students with commuting difficulties. They can sometimes provide discounted parking passes, connect you with the carpool groups, or even just adjust your schedule if transportation is a serious problem.
Really? I didn't know those resources exist.
Yes, many students don't realize what support is available. But besides that, have you considered speaking directly with your professors?
No, yet. I was worried they would think I was just making excuses.
On the contrary, most professors appreciate it when students explain their circumstances. If you let them know you are having a genuine issue, they may be willing to work with you, maybe by giving you lecture slides, recording, or offering a bit of flexibility with the deadlines. The key is to communicate early rather than waiting until it's too late.
That makes sense. I guess I was just embarrassed.
That's very common, but trust me, professors would rather hear from you than notice you slipping away quietly. And remember, if your attendance doesn't improve, the university could place you on academic probation. That means restriction on your course load and possibly even losing scholarships.
Oh wow, I definitely don't want that to happen.
Exactly. So let's think about a concrete plan. First, reach out to your professors by email this week, explain the transportation issue briefly, and assure them you are working on a solution. Second, visit student services. They can advise you on commuting options. Third, if if you continue to struggle, we can also consider adjusting your class schedule for the next semester so that you don't have early classes.
That actually sounds really helpful. I hadn't thought of changing my schedule.
It's an option many students use. The important thing is not to let one obstacle derail your academic progress. You are clearly motivated, you just need a few adjustments to set you back on track.
Thank you. I feel much better now. I will definitely follow your advice.
You're welcome, and don't hesitate to stop by again if you run into any other challenges. That's what we are here for.
I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Take care and good luck with your classes.
Nice. Give me a hand, everybody. Yeah. You know, I very natural flow to this conversation. I pretty effortlessly followed what you're saying as far as the flow and the delivery and pronunciation. Both y'all had a very easy delivery. So yeah, just bus route. Yeah, anyway. Other than that, I mean, I was able to follow that very easily. I like your office has a bathroom. That's it's okay. All right, what's the main purpose of the conversation? Yes, always the conversation. The conversation. It's usually a gist purpose. Why is this meeting happening? Okay, good. To discuss, put in infinitives first, right? To discuss the student's transportation problem and its effect on attendance. To recommend the student drop all morning classes. No. To inform the student about the scholarship opportunity. Carpool program. All right. So it's A. Right. Yeah. D might be a good solution for her problem. I don't think you even mentioned the carpool. Right. Yeah. Y'all know what a carpool is? Yeah. You get together, go in the same car, and yeah. All right, cool. All right, yeah, that's A, good. I like the way you phrase it. The length of each option is not too long, not too short. Great. Yeah, the detailed question is oftentimes about the problem and the solution. No problem misunderstanding it. Change in bus schedules causing absences, conflict with professors, health-related issues. All right, so it's really obviously B. Yeah, I might have made one of these a little more challenging because right away I could see it's B, but it's phrased pretty good. Yeah, these are This is pretty ambiguous, pretty general. I don't think she mentioned anything about that, so it's pretty clearly B there, but yeah. A good example of a detailed question. From my point of view, maybe make one of those a little more tricky for the student to answer. All right, what does this dean recommend the student do first? By the way, y'all familiar with dean? Is that kind of like an administrator at the university? Yeah. Apply for financial aid, speak to the professor, explain the situation.
Drop
Drop the college or drop the course. And again, you got two absurd ones in there. Yeah. Okay, it's B, right? Okay, got it. All right. Now, again, yeah, that's great. Another detailed question was the problem and the solution. That's usually the two detailed questions you might get on a conversation. I just say maybe making the options a little more challenging, because I can obviously tell that that's the right one. All right, why does the dean suggest visiting student services? Good example of an inference question. Yeah, maybe we'll see. Yeah, because the student needs academic tutoring, student services can help with commuting issues. Y'all familiar with that word, commute? Yeah, it's the travel you take from home to. Yeah. Because the professors asked him to do so. All right. What does it suggest? Wait a minute. Why does the dean suggest visiting student services? Because the professors asked the dean to visit. Okay. Because it will automatically change the student's schedule. All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, here's no listen again question.
And remember, if your attendance doesn't improve, the university could place you on academic probation. That means restrictions on your course load and possibly even losing scholarships.
Question. Why does the dean explain the consequences of poor attendance, including academic probation?
All right. This is pretty good. Actually, it could be A or C. I would lean toward A. I think it is a warning, right? Okay, that's just good then, because it seems like, is this the purpose of that statement a warning, or just to show, that the professors are too strict about attendance? The word "to" might disqualify the letter C, so I think it's probably A. Isn't that right? Yeah, okay. But I totally see why someone would be leaning towards C, so that's pretty challenging. That's good. Yeah. As someone taking the test would have to maybe read that out loud, read it more carefully. Yeah. Okay, good. That's a good one. Yeah, okay. I like that one. All right. Now, we're almost there, y'all. Hang in there. Now, last, we're going to hear from her.
Huh? No, because it's my part.
Yeah, I know it's coming. Here we go.
Good morning, students. Today I will talk about urban transportation and its environmental impact. In many large cities, traffic congestion is becoming a major problem. Cars emit pollutants that affect air quality and contribute to climate change. For example, nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide from vehicles are linked to respiratory problems in humans and animals. One solution some cities have tried is to expand public transportation like buses and subways. This approach reduces the number of cars on the road and can also lower greenhouse gas emissions. However, public transportation systems require careful planning, regular maintenance, and significant investment, which can be challenging for smaller cities. Another approach is to encourage biking and walking by creating bike lanes, pedestrian zones, and safe sidewalks. These methods also promote healthy lifestyle for residents. However, it may not work well in cities with long distance or extreme weather conditions. Finally, some cities have experimented with carpool programs. These programs encourage multiple people to share a ride to work or school, which decrease the total numbers of cars on the road and reduce emissions, while helpful carpooling relies on residents' willingness and consistent scheduling. In conclusion, there is no single solution for urban transportation problems. Cities need to combine strategies such as improving public transportation, promoting biking and walking, and encouraging carpooling to reduce traffic and pollution effectively.
All right, give her a hand, everybody. I know it's very hard. My goodness, your class is just fixated. Wow. You really are captured by herself. All right, so I was going to say, well, It's a little shorter than normal. It's usually between 3 and 5 minutes. That's one thing. You speak in a pretty quick pace. I have heard on the TOEFL them speak about that fast, you know. Occasionally there was a word here I was struggling a little bit to understand, but on the whole I was able to follow what you're saying. Just pronunciation with a few words, but your pace of it was very smooth and quick, albeit with pronunciation words here and there. Well organized, of course. I mean, I know you're reading something from the book, right? So, okay. And it's usually a little longer than that, but okay, here we go. All right, so yeah, that actually would be a good length on the speaking section, but anyway. All right, what's the main idea of the lecture? How cities can multiply strategies to reduce, can use multiple strategies to reduce traffic pollution. That sounds right. Maintain buses and subways. Great. That's a minor detail, not the main idea. Good. You want it. So what you'll see on Thursday, one of these will be the main idea, and the others are stuff they mentioned, but not the main idea. That's a good option. Why biking is the best transportation method? Yeah, she mentions biking. That's good. That's not the main idea. The history of cars. No, that's great. These two are good tricks. Yeah, right. You're being a jerk. Good for you guys. Yeah. According to the lecture, what pollutants from cars are linked to respiratory problems? I think maybe. Oh boy, I would have to have been taking notes on that one. Carbon dioxide and ozone. Wait. Ozone. See, I'm drawing upon my own knowledge about this previously, not from your lecture. I know ozone and later is, yeah, that's not, nitrogen oxides and carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide and methane, lead and particulate matter. All right. I'm pretty sure it's B.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's challenging. That's good. Someone would need to have been taking notes on that. All right, good. That's good. Is that throwing out a lot of? Okay, good. All right, nice. All right. I like the options. Options are challenging now. What is the limitation of encouraging biking and walking in cities? Good. Yeah, oftentimes in lectures you say the advantages and disadvantages, right? It increases traffic congestion. It may not work in cities in long distances, extreme weather. I think it's B. It's too expensive for residents. Bicycles? I don't think so. Walking is too expensive. It requires a new car model. Okay, I think it's B, right?
Yeah.
Okay, not bad. Still, I mean, even if they talked about something being too expensive, that might have been a point about something other than biking or walking. I think that she might have, I don't know if she did or not. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, organization. How does a professor organize a lecture? Yeah, right. What does the lesson plans look like? By describing the history of cars and their invention? No. Presenting the environmental problems caused by cars first, and then explaining possible solutions. I think it's B. Comparing transportation in cities with no, not that one. Focusing only on biking and walking is the best solution. Nice.
It's B.
I think it's B, yeah. And you know what? Each option is pretty distinct. They're different from one another. So that's pretty good. But yeah, one of the most words is the. I gotta stop planting that in your head. Don't follow that advice.
We are already focused on that.
That's right. It seems, sometimes they make the longest one, maybe to draw your attention. That could be a trick. Okay. All right. Inference question. What can be inferred about the public transportation in smaller cities? All right. Versus larger cities. Okay. It is always the easiest solution. Nice. Always, never, only. Things like that. That's what those jerks on the TOEFL do. It can be challenging because of cost and planning. Good. I think so. Yeah. Residents do not like buses or subways. Might be that. I think it's B. It does not reduce traffic congestion. B, C, or D are plausible ones. But I think it's B. Yeah, okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, C and D are pretty good tricks. If someone wasn't taking notes well or not paying attention, they could probably be tempted to choose C or D, but it is in fact B there. Right?
Some cities have tried to improve public transportation, but it isn't always simple. It needs carefully planning, regular maintenance, and a lot of money. For smaller cities, this can be quite a challenge.
Why does the professor say this can be quite a challenge?
Shows she strongly supports that's okay. To emphasize difficulties of smaller cities. Yeah, speed, good. Success that public transportation is never useful. Look at that. Yeah, it's another red flag for me, right? To argue that carpooling is a better solution. Oh, I mean speed. Okay. All right, no. Okay, cool. Not bad. There they are, y'all. Give them a hand. Woo! Yay! Yeah, we're a team. All right. So, tell you what, y'all. We got about like I said, you can fill out the the comments y'all are making there. Eventually.
Do we have to write names also?
Yeah, I need to. You go put your names on it because I need to give you a grade for filling that out. Okay, yeah. But like I was telling you later, what I'll do later is I'll cut your name off and then make a PDF of it. But I'll give you a grade first or something. So yeah, just whenever you're finished, before we leave, just drop it in there. Okay. All right, I'm gonna stop the video here. Okay. So by the way.